Okay. Guys online, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. I'm just going to tell the guys an interesting story about music today. Okay, so chaps, music, very interesting. What I love about music is it's so layered. Okay, so what you are going to do as part of this course, and it only comes a bit later, but I'm going to start it. I'm going to tell you about it today. Okay, so one of the things you're going to do is, can you hear me? See me? Good. Is you're going to look at the definition of music. Just hang on, this mask is so weird. Okay, there, that's better. You're going to look at the definition of music. Okay, and where you're going to look at that definition is on Wikipedia. Phone away, please. I don't want to see the phone. In your pocket. Good. Okay. Chaps, you're going to go to Wikipedia at some point, okay, and you are going to look up music on Wikipedia, right? And what's going to come up is a long thing, but you're only going to look at the first paragraph of that, okay? And when you open it up, it says music is a cultural art form, stuff like that, and it says something like whose medium is sound. And then from there on, there are about 3 sentences that tell you all the components of music, and it equates to about 13 really important words. Things like timbre, texture, articulation, rhythm, meter, which is like time signature, time in music, and so on. And then all those very important words come up, and they are blue. And then what you're going to go and do is to learn those, you need to learn those 13 words, and you need to understand them in your own language, you know, because if you don't understand them, you can't understand the definition of music, right? So when you click on the, or you just take your cursor on the blue word, a little block opens up, and it basically gives you about a 3-sentence thing saying, you know, meter is the way rhythms are arranged in music, something like that, right? Are we still recording? Cool. Okay. So that will come later, and then you're gonna submit a little essay. But actually, you only do that later in the term. But what I'm going to do today is just pique your interest in that a bit. Okay. And we're going to have a bit of a discussion to get you thinking about music. Okay. So in the definition, it says music is an art form. Okay. And it ends with whose medium is sound. Okay. Now, when I came to St. David's about 9 years ago, on Wikipedia it said, whose medium is sound and silence. Now, how can a definition change? So how come 9 years ago it said whose medium is sound and silence, and today it's whose medium is sound? Yes. You can change stuff on Wikipedia. Very good. That's part of it. Yeah. Yeah.
You just press backspace a few times.
You press backspace. All right. Yeah. Conversation. Yes.
Song changes.
What's that?
The meaning of song changes as different, like hip hop.
Okay, so you're talking about genres, and you're saying the genres change over time. Okay, but remember, this is like very specific to the broader context of music. It's not like one genre. Yeah.
Possibly because that one was incorrect.
Aha, I like that. It's possibly because the first definition was incorrect. That's the best answer I've heard so far. It's very possible that the definition is just incorrect. How can a definition be incorrect? 9 years ago and then something else, yeah?
Because it's made by people in their opinion.
Great, in their opinion. Okay, yeah?
Yeah, I was going to say what he was going to
Okay, but guys, here's the point. Definitions evolve. Definitions about things evolve. Because our knowledge changes over time, because our opinions change, because the way we see it changes. Knowledge changes. So when I was a kid, I used to get Britannica Encyclopedia. Who's seen that? Have you seen a Britannica Encyclopedia? It's a range of about 20 books like this, and then there's like 20 books in there or whatever, and the letters of the alphabet. So if you wanted to know about music, you'd go to M and you'd take it out and you'd read it, right? But the problem with that is it's become redundant. You can go and pick one up at a second-hand store now and pay, I don't know, $500 for an Encyclopedia Britannica set because it's redundant. You can go on the internet now and look at Wikipedia. And Wikipedia is better. Why? Because Wikipedia evolves with our opinions about things. And one academic will come and say, yeah, but it's sound and silence. Another will say, actually, it's not. Actually, it's not that. And then, so are we just reading like rubbish on Wikipedia? Like, in other words, everybody can change it and it may be just anything. Is Wikipedia like, eh?
I think it is.
Okay, so Wikipedia is just really, we shouldn't even read Wikipedia.
No, so there are certain things you search up because some, it's like blocked off the changes you're allowed to make. So it's probably certain serious definitions.
Okay.
You can't
Yeah, yeah.
use some.
Somebody else, yeah?
If it's important to know.
So only the important stuff is valid.
Yeah, basically. You can't change it.
People used to change the St. David's.
Okay. Okay, guys, here's what happens with Wikipedia. So Wikipedia is one of the most advanced dictionaries in the world and encyclopedias in the world because there's a range of academic people behind it, a panel of people actually governing that every day. Okay, and when you say something, so you can, some St. David's boys went on the St. David's side and just changed something, and we just changed it back. But somebody, a higher power even behind that, I'm not talking about St. David's, I'm talking about a team of Wikipedia experts, then gets on and say, but is this actual fact? And who's inputted the fact? So for instance, if it's a definition of music, there will be a panel of people that say, you can't just say that. Is that correct? Let's go and verify that. Yeah, that certainly could be true. We're going to leave it. And then somebody else will come along and say, actually it needs a citation. You need to say where you heard that or where you got it from. So it can have some gray areas in terms of what you're reading. Generally, it's pretty factual. You can go and change it, but very shortly after, somebody's going to change it back and say, no, you can't say that. Does that make sense? So it is a good source of finding information in its most broadest context. Does that make sense? Was there a question? Okay, cool. So Wikipedia is quite good, but now, so what the great thing about it is the definition of music has evolved, right? It's gone from its sound and silence to just sound. So here's what I want to ask. Should it be sound and silence, or should it be sound? Which definition is correct? Yes.
It would possibly sound in silence.
Better. Okay?
So just sound, because silence is taking the type of sound.
What?
No, he's correct. I'll tell you about that now. Very good. Silence is a type of sound, okay? Coming back to you on that. I want to get this down because I like the class interaction and you can always revisit that. Okay, anybody else? Which one's correct? Sound and silence or sound? Yes.
Even if silence is a sound, then surely you can still put it as sound and silence. It's just.
But it's like saying sound and listing every single type of sound. There's like no point in listing every single type of sound.
It's like saying shoes and
Sound.
Jordans.
There might be a point.
It's like saying shoes and Jordans.
You say choosing.
No.
But maybe
no.
silence is
So if silence is the same as sound, then do we need to say silence in the definition? Not really. Yeah, what are you going to say? Okay, guys, so here's a very interesting thing. Why don't we just test this? So right now, we're all going to close our eyes, and we're going to listen to the silence. Okay, close your eyes.
Sound.
Wait, just listen. Tell me about it when you open your eyes. I'm also listening. Okay, so what did you hear?
noise.
You heard a lot of sound. You heard somebody talking over there. You heard feet shuffling, people breathing, whatever. Yeah.
So surely, if sound and silence are complete opposites, then surely silence cannot be a sound. It just doesn't make sense.
True silence is very hard to find.
Okay, so what is it? Okay, I hear you. So what does it tell you about silence?
It's just a sound.
It does not.
Exist.
It's a myth. It does not exist. So when we say silence, we say we actually think then everything becomes quiet. It doesn't. Actually, what happens is we just end up listening to what we haven't been listening to. So silence is actually like what's happening. Yeah.
I just want to say something. So if you say sound and silence, it's basically saying the color. So if you have the color, you've got colors and then if that's basically saying colors and then black, because black, I don't know, but that isn't right. That isn't right, because the color black is the absence of light. It's still a color.
I like
It's
it.
the absence of light.
I like it. The color black is absence of light, yeah?
When you say that,
Yeah.
it wouldn't sound right, so you wouldn't say that. That's the same as saying sound and silence. Saying color and black. Almost.
Okay, so which definition is right? Music is sound and silence, or music is sound?
Sound, the sound.
Okay, cool. Yeah?
Only problem with that is there's no definite note or sound for silence. If silence would be a sound, but there is a, let's say, crayon for black, and there's a crayon for white. So that's also not.
Okay, what happens if I said, here's another interesting, what happens if I said grammar is words? Or grammar is words and spaces, or grammar is words? Which one is correct? Grammar is words.
Yeah.
So when you speak, do you have no spaces in between the words?
No, you do.
What is, how does, okay, I'll get back to you. So the space in grammar, in sentences, operates as a type of communication. So if I say, hello, how are you? There's a pause. I don't say, hello, how are you? I'm doing today, and then before I'm even finished speaking, you start speaking. So if I do the same with music, don't I destroy the music? I need to have ba da 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 dee dee da 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 da. Do you see the pause? There's a pause. But is that pause silence? No, because the moment you pause, we have noise around it. So maybe some depends.
Depends on where you're playing and who you're playing for.
Okay, so okay, cool. So the next question is, where's this place where there's no noise?
In an airtight room.
Is there any place on earth where there's no noise?
room that's
Yeah.
I watched a video on it. I think it's in Sweden or Holland,
No,
and it's just like a sound room.
Okay, wait. Yeah. Let's listen. Yeah.
And it's like a huge sound room that basically like you go in and like there's like all the triangles around, but they're extremely big. And it's just absolute quiet in there.
Is that carrot?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but he heard his blood around his ears. He still heard.
Okay, wait, guys. Okay, wait. Let's stop there. Yes, correct. Okay, so what they've tried to do on Earth is they've tried to create a chamber in which it's the quietest chamber in the world. So you walk in, it's like a padded cell basically, and you walk in, and anybody who walks in and spends 5 minutes in there actually wants to have a nervous breakdown because it's so unusual not to hear a sound that they just want to get out again. They say, I can't handle this. And there's no stimulus and there's no nothing in that room. And it's almost like the air is dead in there because even the air doesn't move. Okay. So they have tried to create that on Earth, yeah?
So surely if you go in there, you'll hear yourself breathing.
Correct. So the moment you go, okay, so guys, I want to move on to the next thing that's in the definition, and this is the key. It says, whose medium is sound and silence. So what is a medium? For you sounds guys, what's a medium?
In the middle.
Yeah, correct. The medium is like low, medium, high, but that's not what I'm talking about. What is a medium in terms of how sound travels? Yeah.
It's like with painting. You've got the medium of oil painting, and then you've got acrylic painting. The medium is a different type, almost. A different.
Oh, that's also correct.
Almost genre.
But wait, okay. So let me help you out. So when I talk and you hear it, where does the sound travel through? It travels through the air. So the air is the medium. So scientifically, you have to have a medium for sound waves to travel through, right? Okay. So this is interesting because if there's a medium, there's no silence. If there's a continual medium, and you can't not find a medium on Earth for sound waves to travel through. So guys, even water is a medium for sound. In fact, it's a better medium than air. That's why whales and sharks can communicate over kilometers and kilometers by sending off a ooh and like a little sound 5 kilometers away, and the other whale hears it. If you go to this pool here and you get in the one end and you have a digital watch and your buddy goes underwater with you and you go beep, he'll hear it on the other side of the pool instantaneously. Okay, medium is a better, water is a better medium than air because it's very thick. Okay, yeah?
Yeah, so can we go try that?
We're going swimming after
You can try it when it gets warm enough. Okay, wait,
No way.
Yes? Guys, let's listen.
So water, sound travels faster in water.
As far as I understand it, do you want to check it on Google?
It's fine. So can we
Wait.
just test it in
Sorry,
real life?
just wait, guys. Just hang on. Yes?
I'm pretty sure sound travels faster in water.
Okay, have you got your phone with you? Okay, not all of you. You. Google if sound travels faster in water
Sir, I think it might.
or air. Yes?
Well, so, I mean, that's not scientific, but why doesn't the same thing work when you're trying to talk to the water?
Because you're not making the right.
Because you're okay, guys, please listen. That's a very valid point because your equipment isn't set up to talk underwater. It's set up to talk in air. So that's why you don't get clarity of sound, but you do hear a sound. So if you go underwater and you scream in the pool, you go ah like that, and bubbles coming out, your buddy will hear it on the other side of the pool. Okay. Yeah? What?
So sound travels faster through liquids,
Through liquids. Okay, cool.
but even faster through solids.
Even milk.
Even faster through solids.
I think that's
Interesting.
because they're more tightly
They're more
compacted.
dense. Yeah. They're more dense. Yeah. Okay, guys, wait. Guys.
People not, human not being able to, yes, it's also, you rely on air. Oceanic life also relies on air, but it relies on air through basically water flowing through their gills, and then they take out the air particles in the water. But they can basically swallow water and they'll be fine. We can't because
We don't have the
we
equipment.
don't have the equipment.
Yeah.
If you get a diving suit with the old diving suits with the actual whole
Yes.
those head helmets, not just the mask and not the mask and the regulator. You can speak because there's an air bubble around.
Correct.
You can't speak
Correct.
if there's no air.
Okay. Correct. Okay, good point. Guys, I want to move on to the next point, yeah?
So often I've done such a test, I'd put my ear against the table, and then I could actually hear other people writing.
Isn't that amazing? Okay, so I'm going to get to my next point. So guys, what happens if there's no medium? Where do we find no medium whatsoever? Okay, so let's say, how's this for interesting thought? This is what I enjoy about music and about taking it one step further. So you go up in your spaceship, right? This mask is such a pain. Wait, every time I talk and it slips down, I sound like I amplify my voice. It's very weird. Okay. I want to tilt it up a bit. Okay, so guys, listen up. Guys, the back. Okay, put the phone away. Okay, listen. So you go up in your spaceship and you're the guys got to go outside and repair your ship. Now you go out into your ship, right? Outside of your ship, and now you're repairing the ship. Are you guys listening there on the table? So you're repairing the ship, and the next thing, you don't realize it, but something flies past, cuts off your cable, all comms die, and you're floating out into space. There's nothing happening in your suit. Your oxygen's running out. You've got enough your oxygen is shut down, but you've got enough to breathe for another, say, 5 minutes in your helmet. And you're floating out into space, and now you know that actually nobody knows about this, and you're probably going to die because you're going to float away. What are you hearing? Are you hearing pure silence? Wait, hands up. You? Hearing yourself breathe? Yeah. Absolutely, because there's a bubble of atmosphere in here.
I'd say you can feel your heartbeat, basically like sense
Okay, why? Just hang on. Why can you feel your heart beating?
the blood basically goes to your head.
Okay, because it's so quiet you can hear that. Okay,
And so
cool.
also the adrenaline.
Wait, shh, guys.
You will also hear basically, you'll hear your equipment, the equipment on the inside of your suit, not the equipment on the outside.
Okay, you're moving around maybe and stuff.
Yeah, basically, like your oxygen tank slowly releasing air.
Okay, cool, yeah. Okay, so you said you'll because of your adrenaline.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say this is the most silent you can get, because outside of that is no medium. What's making the biggest noise? There's something making a huge noise.
The planets.
Your what?
The planets.
No, not the planet.
Bro, they make a noise.
What's making the biggest noise?
Your thoughts.
Huh?
Your brain.
Guys, wait, listen. That's the correct answer. Chaps,
Your brain.
guys,
Guys,
guys, that's the correct answer. You are floating out in space, and you're going to die. Your oxygen's going to run out in 5 minutes, and you're going to die in the middle of space. What's making the biggest noise is in your head. You are screaming and shouting, and you're panicking, and your voices in your head are saying, this, that, blah, blah, up, the. Guys, the biggest noise, okay, we are like seldom in silence because one of the biggest noises is in our head. It's the things we are saying to ourselves all the time. So I went and I thought all these things through, and then I got past sound and silence, and I was like, but we are never in silence. We are never in silence. The moment we're in silence, our brains actually, we are not even in control of the voices in our head. Those things are always telling us. And although they're not going externally out to our ears, in fact, we are never really in silence. So interesting, yeah?
So like if you, I wouldn't say like not true silence, but like if it's very quiet, your ears will even start to ring. 'Cause they're not
Yes.
used to not
Yes.
hearing.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you something about ears now, yeah?
So I feel like the thoughts in my head are more like subtitles.
Oh, what?
They subtitles to my life.
There's subtitles. Guys, it's happening all the time. In fact, a lot of the time, you are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are random, and they're telling you what to do. So that's a very interesting question, because if your thoughts are telling, guys, listen to this for an interesting thing. If your thoughts are random, then who are you? Are you also random? Where's if the control, okay, how's this for a question? Guys, how's this for a question? If the control center for your thoughts is not in your thoughts, then where is it?
Everything's alive.
Maybe it's outside of your thoughts. Okay, cool. Okay, I want you to give that some thought, guys. Guys? Okay, chaps, I want you to give that, okay, I'm almost finished my talk. Guys, I want you to give that some thought. Think about what goes on in your head. Okay, next thing, eardrums. So guys, look what happens. Sound is instantaneous. You talk at the back of the room, I hear it immediately. So what happens is you've got vocal cords. The vocal cords vibrate. They hit into the medium. It sends a vibration through the air, and that vibration goes into my ear. The reason your ear is curled like this is it catches the vibrations. That's why it's built. So guys, look, it's got it. Guys, listen to me, please. Turn around. Okay, it's got a curly whirly thing. The sound goes like into the curly whirly thing, goes in. Okay, if you do this, you can hear better. Okay, and now the sound goes in and it bumps into a drum, guys. So look here, it bumps into this. Okay, it bumps into a little vellum, and that vellum is called a tympanum. And guess what? There's a big drum in the symphony orchestra called a timpani, right? So, interesting. So, was it called a tympanum, and then we got a drum, and they said, oh, this is like the ear, so we'll call it the timpani. Okay. Or is it the drum and then the vellum? Exactly. Okay, cool. So, guys, so that's what vibrates. Now I want to tell you something even more amazing. Okay. Is that concrete wall vibrating?
Yeah.
Is the ground vibrating?
Yeah.
Are you vibrating?
No.
The question is, does everything vibrate?
My brain doesn't get
Okay. Shh. Guys, in an atom is nothing but an energy field. And inside the atom, it's completely empty space. Okay? It's completely empty space except for a couple of little minute, like the smallest thing in the universe is like electrons, protons, quarks, and there's something else. But they're just like, they're actually just like little pinpoints in the atom, right? And what happens is this energy field is vibrating between those atoms, and that's creating a vibration, okay? And the whole of the universe is made up of these little atoms, and all the atoms are vibrating. So everything is vibrating because those are the building blocks of the universe. Okay, now listen to this, guys. So if everything's vibrating, that means, and there's nothing in an atom, okay, so scientific fact is 99.9 to infinity space within an atom. Do you hear that? There is 99.9 to infinity space within an atom. There is nothing in it. All that's in it is a vibrating electrical type current field that is bouncing between these points. Okay, now, how's this? So the scientist of today, do you know Albert Einstein? The Albert Einstein of today. Okay, Albert Einstein used to be known as the cleverest man in the world. The cleverest man in the world at the moment is known as Michio Kaku. He's the Einstein of today. Now listen, guys. He says that these electronic fields are so vivid that they are exactly like guitar strings. Okay, so if you take a guitar and you pluck a string, he says, wait, listen. This is what's happening in an atom. Watch it. He says that's what's happening. And guess what his theory of everything is called? It's called M theory. And he says we are nothing, the whole universe is nothing but an entire symphonic orchestra playing strings, vibrating instruments. And we live in a, listen very carefully, we live in the uni one verse song, we live in the one song.
No.
So
I wouldn't be smart enough for this on a good day, so like.
I understand. So you're saying that we're basically playing the song right now?